Excellent. Welcome, everyone, to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. Oh, geez. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I hit my boom. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm the host. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is a man who could hit more home runs than Jazz Chisholm did last night. At the Home Run Derby, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Actually, I'm not sure that I can. Which was a topic of discussion last night. But what I 100% can do is eat more Dots pretzels than he can, and more Monster Mix from Hannaford than he can. So yeah, I'm doing well though. I'm doing well. I was a little tired at work today. The Home Run Derby went on too long, I tell you. But I'm thrilled to be here. We have lots to discuss. How are you, sir?
I'm also tired because I got home late last night from your and again openly thank you for hosting myself and a couple other friends for the Home Run Derby. Stayed the whole time, enjoyed some couple brewskis. Hope we got a chance to try the Dogfish Head Grateful Dead juicy pale ale that I brought over. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you. I haven't yet, but I will be trying that either tonight or tomorrow night for sure. Because I had a few brewskis myself last night, and I was like, yeah, this Monday night drinking, I'm not used to it.
Neither am I. Neither am I, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was a great night. I'm a little tired today because I had to get up early, take care of I'm dog sitting for a friend while he's out of state. So helping out with that. So I'm getting up early and driving to his house and driving back and signing into work. So, and also my cat was very happy to see me last night. So he kept me up for a bit as usual on during the nights, but that's okay. We're having, it's a fun day today. Last 2 days, if you're a New York Jets fan, you're going to want to tune in and listen a little bit later in the show, because I got some thoughts about the last 2 days in Jets land as a New York Jets fan. But we're going to talk about today. We're talking about our review of The Rookie from 2002 and our No Tape Required series. We're continuing that. We've got 2 more after this week. We've got 2 more movies for the summer, Dustin.
2 more, the final 2. This is crazy. And we and I'll give the cred heads the peek behind the curtain. We already have most of the movie list picked out for next year, but we just may have something up our sleeves. Stay tuned for what that might be as we move throughout the year.
That's right. So we're going to do our movie review of The Rookie. We're going to recap last night's Home Run Derby. We're going to talk about the Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner extension. Had a little sauce with for my dinner tonight. Well, it was pizza, but there's some sauce on it just to commemorate the signing. We're also going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 52, because it is episode 52 of 2025. But before we get into everything, I just want to remind you to follow us on social media. Please do that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also check out other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and now on Podbean. Yeah. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you get notified of live shows, get notified of additional content, get notified of show announcements. Tonight we're on the Belly Up Twitter channel again, so we're trying to drive up views for our content on Belly Up Sports, but we're also, as usual, on our Facebook channel, and we're live on our No Credentials Required YouTube channel. But this will be available tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. On the podcast side, rate, review, comment. 5-star ratings would be helpful. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Podchaser, wherever you listen, wherever you can leave a review. And also, don't forget to leave a comment, especially if you listen on Spotify or if you're watching on the Belly Up Sports YouTube. Leave a comment below what you thought of The Rookie, what you thought of the Home Run Derby, what you think of the Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson extensions, and your favorite athletes who are the number 52. And because we're a live show most Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, also the occasional happy hour episodes on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern when we announce them. We want you to leave a live comment. We got plenty of comments coming in. It's pretty awesome so far tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin, I've had a good day. I haven't needed this chime, but this is always a bonus when it's a certain time in the episode.
I hear it in the distance. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. What's that, folks? It's chime time.
Yeah. Some comments rolling in the comments section. Desi checking in for the first time in a while. She says, "Hi guys, hi Desi. Good
Hi, how are you?
see you in the chat." Julie from Michigan checking in, saying we need more tag along content. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Got a little portable microphone. I'm going to try to get Cat chimes in on stuff. Yeah, two X. Dan Cruz from the Ton of BS podcast saying, "Greeting, lads. I'm watching Jim Cornette clips on Starrcade 1997 between Sting and Hollywood Hogan in the Montreal Screwjob Survivor Series 1997.
Oh, man, you're doing like a 1997 year in review, sir. Maybe.
That's right.
Perhaps.
That's right. I'm Jim Cornette. I'm Jim Cornette. I'm going to mess you up."
Was 1997 the year that the Hall of Famer Dusty Rhodes joined the NWO, or was that after? I think maybe that was like 99 when WCW was fluttering.
I can't remember if was Dusty Rhodes ever remembered at MWO?
Yeah, he reviewed. Sorry, there's like a bug flying around. I have like fruit flies. He revealed that he opened up his shirt. He gave somebody the bionic elbow. I can't remember. And Tony Schiavone went nuts. Dusty Rhodes was going off. He was like, "I'm in the NWO now. Let me tell you right now." He was saying stuff.
I think the NWO is feeling funky like a monkey.
I kind of lost it. But
he also says, "Dusty, you look tired. Too much Seahawks film, I presume."
Yeah.
And Desi agrees. She says she does see some bags under those eyes.
Yeah, we just went over it. I was tired because I was up watching the Home Run Derby, which was entirely too long. They need to change the format.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the recap section. But yeah, I've got some thoughts about that myself.
I was also breaking down Seahawks film with my friend Meatwad Dan, so you just might hear from him on Seahawks sessions in the future.
Will we also have an appearance from Master Shake and Frylock?
No, I gotta review. Maybe we can handle that.
He also says that you look like the lead singer of Green. You look like Billy Joe Armstrong tonight.
Oh, well, I hope you're having the time of your life watching the show, Dan. Appreciate
it. We got other comments in the comment section, but we're gonna save them for after our review of the rookie. It's time for our favorite summer segment, which is no ticket required. Where is that bumper? There it is. Here we go. No ticket required. And as promised, we are going to review 2002's The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid and Rachel Griffiths. This is a Disney movie that's based on the true story of Jim Morris, who was a high school teacher who was also a baseball coach, who in his 40s had a tryout with the Tampa Bay Rays and was a member of that Tampa Bay Rays team. And if I look at baseballreference.com, we go to Jim Morris. He played for 2 seasons in the major leagues, was born in 1964. He's 61 years old. Good for him. Was actually drafted by the New York Yankees in the 18th round of the 1982 amateur draft, and then redrafted in the first round of the 1983 draft, the secondary phase, and by the Milwaukee Brewers. Did not pitch a game. He actually hurt his shoulder, so he never made an appearance. But then again, in 1999, got a tryout did open tryout with the Tampa Bay Rays, and then went on to pitch 2 seasons with the team. He made 21 appearances, 15 innings pitched, 13 hits, 12 runs, 8 earned, 2 home runs given up, 9 walks, 13 strikeouts though, and 1 intentional walk. Career ERA of 4.80. But that's not what we're here to review. We're not here to review his stats. We're not here to review his marvelous season from 1999 and 2000 when he came in the league as a relief pitcher, as a 35-year-old at the time. Made his first appearance with the Tampa Bay Rays. We're going to talk about his inspiring story of how he became a major leaguer. So I don't remember. I watched this film. I have it on DVD, and I couldn't find it. But I had a Disney Plus subscription, so it's on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it before. I've only watched it once before, so I'm kind of seeing it with fresh eyes in a sense. But I don't know about you, Dustin, but I don't have you. You had me lead off last week with my thoughts about Varsity Blues. So I'm going to have you lead off this week. And by the way, next week we're reviewing The Natural. We got finalized, but we'll have our special guest who will reveal at the end of this segment. So Dustin, give me some of your thoughts about The Rookie.
Well, this is complicated for me because I had much more pleasant memories of The Rookie. I do remember watching it. The movie came out the year I graduated high school, 2002. Yes, I am dating myself here. There's been some talk in the comments about people being old. Because I'm older than both of you by quite a bit, and the bags under my eyes tonight prove it. But anyway, when I watched this movie in 2002, I remember being hooked into it. You know, I was into it, and I really found the story inspiring, and you know, I fell hook, line, and sinker. I remember for the kid in the movie, and I liked his team and everything. And I was watching it with my mom. I think we saw it in the theater, and because it was a movie that we were both interested in, and though that didn't always happen. And I remember telling her like, "Oh, I'm going to go home and fire up Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest and see if he's in the lineup for the Devil Rays." And I can't remember whether he was in their pen or not, because this was before the days of real-time roster updates where you could download roster patches and all that stuff. Can't remember if I found old Jim Morris on there, but watching this movie years later, this was probably the first time I watched it in a long time. And I can tell you, Ryan, I was viewing it with fresh eyes as well. And the feeling that I get on this movie now is a little bit different. First of all, after watching a movie like Varsity Blues with the soundtrack it had, the soundtrack to this one was quite underwhelming. And I have in my notes, they're really sticking with this recorder theme that they have going as he's like driving around and doing things. They cut to real songs, but then they have like this recorder motif going throughout the movie. I was excited to see. I had forgotten that Brian Cox was in this movie as Sir, aka Jim Morris's father. I think it was Jim Morris Sr. He was a Navy recruiter, Army kid. You feel bad for Jimmy. I do like the opening sequence, the beginning where they show how much he moved around, and you know that his father really doesn't share his passion for baseball and seemingly doesn't think it's a worthy pastime. But I remember Brian Cox the most. Most remember him from Secession. I remember him as Uncle Argyle in Braveheart. He comes to take a young William Wallace in. So I said, Uncle Argyle, an exclamation point. I always like when Brian Cox is in something. But you know, this movie, the first thing I'm going to say, the detriment that it has against it, in my opinion, is that it's just too long. I forgot how long it was. It's moving very slowly. Still, overall, I found the message inspiring. And I think Dennis Quaid does a pretty good job of portraying someone who's torn between his love of baseball never dying, but also wrestling with that pragmatic side of him that realizes that his chances probably passed him by. He's got to come to terms with it, and he's got a family to support and things like that. I think he does a pretty believable performance. Some of the pitching sequences, I looked it up. Dennis Quaid did have a body double for this movie for some of the pitching parts, but he did do some of his own pitching, so it was a mix of both. But this movie, there's a hardware store in this Texas town called Butts Hardware. I think this movie has a bit of an obsession with butts. It's a recurring theme throughout the movie. But I still liked his son. He's asking, is that why you didn't make it? It cuts his dad right to the quick when it flashes forward in time, and he's still hanging out with those same three guys in the hardware store that he met at the beginning of the movie. But the budget, the movie does a good job of illustrating the gulf between baseball and football in Texas. He has no budget for his high school baseball team. The scoreboard looks beat up. The uniforms the practice uniforms are sad. The game uniforms a little better. And I did like the human hair trick apparently does work. My mom used it to protect some stuff in her garden. She might have done it after this movie. I can't remember. But
I wouldn't have put it past her.
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah, they do use they do grow the grass and stuff, but the part of the movie that I found really kind of unbelievable upon this watch, and I should have done research to see how it compared, what parts Disney Disneyfied, as you like to say, Ryan, because the Owls, they were a woeful team. Woeful team. And then this movie takes the tired old tradition of the coach. They're pressuring the coach. They're saying you gotta try out, because you're throwing some gas, and I don't think you realize how fast you're throwing. And of course, he's got the catcher. That's the one that spurs him on. And then all of a sudden the team takes off when he says that all of a sudden they've gone from winning one game the previous 3 seasons, and now they win 17 and they go to states, all because he says, I'm going to try out, and they just catch fire. That was the part that I was like, come on, man, this has got to be like a Disneyfication. I had a harder time buying it. But, there's certain things I have in my notes. You can't help but smile during the win streak, even though like, that it didn't happen that way. But the relationship between Jimmy and his father is one that hit. To me, that was like the truest part of this movie, and that was the real story that I kind of stuck with throughout this movie. As inspiring as it is to see Jimmy chase a dream that he kind of got put on the shelf with his injuries and then get there. That's supposed to be the inspiring message behind the movie. But for me, I think it was both men realizing they've made a mistake. His father said that he missed too many big moments for his son. And at the end, spoilers of the movie, and Jimmy gave him the ball, gave him the ball that he had been hanging on to. And you can see there's moments in this movie where both of these men want to come together and kind of apologize to each other. Jimmy, after some prodding from his mother and his wife, I think in different ways, and also seeing the relationship that he has with his own son. What I clung to most in this movie is watching these two men kind of finally come together at the end of the movie and realize that they both made some mistakes. And you would hope that they patched it up in this movie world. You would hope that they passed it up. And I have a touching moment between Jim and his dad. That's what got it. That's what got this movie over the hump for me. The baseball sequences, I didn't buy into them as much as I thought I would. I mean, like I said, I smiled during the win streak, even though I knew it was patently unbelievable. But this movie is conflicting for me because overall there were some parts I really liked, but the soundtrack was a weak point. I thought Dennis Quaid did a good job. He's got some guns in this movie, so he must have worked out. Some of his faces,
dude's an all-time stud. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
I say this as a heterosexual male.
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying that dude's an all-time stud.
Yeah, game recognizes game, but some of his faces that he's making, they're ridiculous. Like his trademark Quaid smile. I'm like, I'd never noticed how kind of crazy he looks sometimes. But this movie,
it's kind of like Jack Nicholson and the
yes,
as the Joker.
Yes,
Batman.
Yes,
like same kind of smile.
Yeah, that's an apt comparison for sure. But I guess I'll finish with these thoughts because I've gone on entirely too long. Some parts of this movie I really liked, and some parts I didn't as much because they were tough to buy in, and the soundtrack and the length of this movie has me conflicted about where to rank it. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Ryan, and then we'll rank the movie at the end on our respective list.
Yeah, as I've said, as you correctly stated, that quoting, but kind of taking what I've seen from Disney movies or their sports movies. Yeah, there has been Disneyfication of certain things because they always say it's based. They always say at the beginning when they start the movie and they start the opening credits, it says based on a true story. Miracle was based on a true story. Even though they didn't produce it, American Underdog is based on a true story. So a lot of these sports movies are often based on true stories, and there's a little bit of artistic license to them. This movie's no exception. And you brought along some facts about the team that Jim Morris coached. They were dog water, basically.
Yeah.
So the inspiration of them making the playoffs and then winning district, so they would motivate him to try out for to go to open tryout for a Major League Baseball team because they believed in his dream. Because he was telling his players after the game that they lost by a big amount, by 13-3. He's looking at them. They're lackadaisical. They look like they don't care. They're just kind of standing there, and it's like, what? Like, you guys just lost it because you don't look like you don't care. And you see that not so much. You see that both with any level of sport, whether you're playing recreationally, high school, college, intramurals, professional. You can tell when people's attitude they just don't care. They just don't want to be there. They absolutely don't want to be there. So yeah, the artistic license with trying to make this a more inspiring story than it already is, kind of pumping the tires a little bit in the story. The relationship, there's the keys of this movie are the relationship between Jim and his son Hunter,
yep,
and Jim Sr., because you can kind of see the dynamic between between Jim and his dad and Jim and his son. Like he's trying to be more present. He's trying to be the dad that his dad wasn't. And I think it's a lot. I think a lot of men do that these days. I mean, last month was men's mental health. Did you know this? Last month was men's mental health month.
I saw that on social media. Yeah, I saw that on social media.
You didn't see that a whole lot. So if I would just say this, if guys out there, if you have issues with your dad or issues with your parents, I would highly encourage you to talk it out with somebody you trust.
Yeah,
whether it be a therapist, a pastor, or a priest, or just someone in your life who was a father figure to you. I would encourage you to seek counseling and try to make amends before it's too late. And it's interesting that the one line in the movie that Jim Morris says, he says, your grandfather once told me it was okay to think about what you want to do until it was time to start doing what you are meant to do. And what's interesting, I kind of see this. I saw this myself in the movie. Like when Jim Senior told it to Jim Junior, Jim Junior took it in the wrong. Sense.
Yeah, he was. I have in my notes. He was still mad. He was still mad about it. Yeah.
And it's funny because I think about this now with take it backstage here.
Yeah.
In the dynamic with my dad, sometimes I do the same thing.
Yeah, we all do.
Say something like not just with our dad, but with people we respect and love. We think they're saying something. You're taking it the wrong way at first, but then you really sit down and you think about it, and you're going, "Oh yeah, they were totally right." So, but Dennis Quaid. Always. He's one of the great sports movie actors because he's not just in this movie, but Everyone's All American. I never saw that movie. Maybe we had that in a feature list for No Ticket Required. Everybody's All American with Jessica Lange as his girlfriend / wife in the movie. He was also an American Underdog. He was Kurt Warner's father-in-law.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Forgot his cameo in there.
Yep. He was also in Any Given Sunday, which we'll probably, again, do another feature, No Ticket Required about. But he always seems to crush it when it comes to sports movies. This one, no exception. Absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed the part of Jim Morris. Was again, great actor. But the person who stole the show, the actor who actually stole the show in this movie, Angus T. Jones as Hunter Morris. Yeah. And what's interesting is that Angus T. Jones, he's no longer in Hollywood. After he did 2.5 Men for however long that show was on the air. And after he went to college, met his wife, started going to church, and he's like, "No, I don't do that anymore. I don't." He's no longer an actor. So he's no longer in Hollywood, but like when he was a kid, you could tell like this guy, he was going to be a really good child actor, and he was excellent in this movie. He stole the show. Yeah,
I forgot that's because I was like, he looks familiar, and I did. I was watching this movie with my sister Tracy. She came over and we watched it, and she kind of made fun of. We were making fun of Dennis Quaid's faces, some of them, and then she did like an Angus T. Jones smile, and I turned to her and I said, "Hey, he's the heart of the movie," and I wasn't fully joking here.
But like you said, the top of your comments, this movie was long, and I watched it on Sunday afternoon. I got home from the gym, got some popcorn, sat down. I said, I was gonna watch a football game that night, so I'm doing my thing with Total Football Talk with our boy Drew Willingham.
Yeah.
I said, all right, let's watch this movie. I'll watch a couple hours before the game starts. Popped it on Disney Plus. I looked at the timeline. It says 2 hours. I'm going, oh no. This might suck. It didn't, but there were times where everything just kind of felt slow. It dragged a little bit, which was it's the weak part of it. This is one of the weaknesses, one of the flaws of this movie. It's just the length and how it drags out a little bit. And there's a lot of stuff that didn't necessarily need to be in the movie, like the calls to home from the minor league fields. Oh, by the way, I don't know if this is a reflection, if this is artistic license with the movie, or if this actually happened with the AA team in Orlando when the manager calls him from the bullpen, gives him the ball and says, "Hurry it up. We got a bus to catch. We got a long bus ride."
No,
Well, that just typifies the entire Tampa Bay Devil Rays organization back in 1999.
They were still owned by Vince Namoli, I believe, at that point.
Yeah, and actually they just got sold yesterday. They announced it yesterday that they were being sold, and they're going to probably stay in they want to stay in the new owner has mentioned that he wants the team to stay in the Tampa area, not St. Petersburg. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's neither here nor there. We just happen to mention the Tampa Bay Rays because Tampa Bay Devil Rays are in this movie. So. Yeah. But I forgot how clean those Devil Ray uniforms were back in the day with the gradient lettering and and the manta ray on the front and the cap.
No, I did like those uniforms too. Those are the ones I remember because Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. Guess what I used to try to do? I used to take the Rays and I used to build my own roster and I used to try to take them to the promised land. And now you see why I didn't go to prom in high school. But hey, things happen.
Little peek into Dustin's life there.
yeah.
But getting back to our primary subject here of the rookie. Now, again, inspiring story. It just shows that no matter what age you are, there's always a reason to try. Whether it's to be a better parent, whether it's to try to do something you've never done before, try a new hobby, try to excel at something. Like, this movie is definitely an inspirational.
Yeah.
Mystery Alaska in the same way was also very inspirational, even though it's total fiction, but it's definitely a what if film. Like, what if a team that gets together every Saturday and has guys in the town play the game on Saturday, the Saturday game? What if they were to play against a professional team, the Binghamton Rangers? In a sense, but no. Again, the Disney movie, inspirational. Again, the flaw of this movie is, again, the artistic license and the length and the fact that some of the scenes just dragged out and they didn't really need to. So
yeah,
but that's for me. That's it for me. So we're gonna do our rankings, Dustin. I'm gonna start with you. In terms of the movies we've seen so far in this iteration of No Ticket Required, where does this rank in your rankings?
Okay, number 1 is Seabiscuit. It's going to take a heck of an effort to knock it off, and I don't think anything's going to. Number 2 for me.
2 movies left, though.
Yeah, yep, 2 movies left. We'll see. Then we got number 2. I have a feeling there'll be some changes down the line, but for now, my number 2 is still Invictus. My number 3 because of nostalgia, Blue Chips. Okay, I always have to put that asterisk on it, but also Nick Nolte, incredibly believable as that basketball coach. And then, okay, number 4, Mystery Alaska, barely edged out by Blue Chips. Number 5, this is where I struggle. This is the internal conflict, but I do think I'm going to put Varsity Blues slightly ahead of The Rookie. Varsity Blues stays at number 5. The Rookie just barely goes to number 6. 7 is Draft Day. And 8, of course, we all know, No Holds Barred.
All right, here's my order. So number 1, obviously, Seabiscuit. Number 2, I'm trying to remember my draft. I'm trying to remember my order. Maybe I'll have to go back in the archive and listen to last episode to remember what my ranking was. But if I remember correctly, number 2 was Invictus, if I remember correctly. And then number 3, Mystery Alaska, barely edging out Blue Chips.
Blue Chips, yeah, you had Blue Chips. You and I have Blue Chips swapped in Mystery Alaska.
I'm going to put at number... Let's see. So Seabiscuit, Mystery Alaska, Invictus, Blue Chips. I'm going to put The Rookie at number 5.
Okay.
Not because of the subject matter, not because it's an inspiring story, but just because it was too long and it dragged out longer than it should.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Draft Day. I'm sorry. Number 6 is Draft Day.
Oh, what about Varsity Blues?
Oh, Varsity Blues. Okay, so Varsity Blues is just under The Rookie.
Okay, yep.
Just under the... Well, like I said, I'm trying to go by memory. My memory is bad. So I'll have to go back in my rank. I'll have to go back and listen to the last episode or watch the last episode to remember where I was. So Seabiscuit, Invictus, Mystery Alaska, Blue Chips, The Rookie, Varsity Blues, Draft Day, then last place, No Holds Barred.
You and I have draft day and no holds barred have been locked in that position pretty much for the whole time.
They have since no holds barred.
Yeah.
That was 3 weeks ago. Shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So next week we're going to be reviewing The Natural from, I believe it was 1982, with Robert Redford, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger. Hello. And the dad from Christmas Story. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember.
Gavin McSomething. Anyway, but we're going to be joined. I'm going to finalize with him this week. We're going to be joined by a special guest, and it's none other than this gentleman.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Our tribal chief, Wise El Jefe, will be joining us. He didn't come back last night on Raw, but he's our tribal chief, number one in our hearts. He'll be joining us for our review of The Natural. And then in 2 weeks, we'll conclude our summer series with Remember the Titans. I'm going to try to get a special guest. I'm going to try to get a guest reviewer for that one. I'll reach out and see if anybody wants to be available or whatnot. But we got some comments in the comment section in the meantime from Dan Cruz. Actually, I'm sorry, for Kevin Wilson start off, says, Happy Tuesday to both. I love The Rookie. Of course, it's a baseball movie, and baseball movies are usually the top movie that's usually made for sports. It's usually baseball, football, and basketball, hockey, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Desi saying, well, I'm sitting in traffic wondering why I went to the city today, and she says sports ball is my distraction today. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're happy to be there, but stay safe driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Cruz saying yes. Yes, DVDs, a relic in today's time. I know. I have a collection full of them.
I got a few myself, my friend.
Me too. I've also got some I've also got a Wii, and I've also got some PlayStation 2 games as well. So
nice.
Yeah. Our friend of the show, Sick Diggy, joining us all the way from Norway, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. He also says, don't forget Jack Nicholson's smile and The Departed, Anger Management, and The Shining.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because we were talking about Dennis Quaid, and you said his smile was Jack Nicholson-esque.
It's very Jack Nicholson-esque.
Yeah.
Desi saying, Dennis Quaid equals low-key crush. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Quaid, not so much.
Come on. Everybody loves Uncle Eddie or Cousin Eddie. Come on. No.
Real nice. She also says he's definitely a stud on the screen. She also says this point, I fully 100% applaud you saying this. This is, as a woman, a daughter, a wife, and a mother, I support men's mental health. There's unbelievable amounts of stress on men in society, and you are expected to be stoic, showing no emotions. If you feel you need help, please seek it out. Amen and amen.
Yeah, and that goes for anybody. Anybody having feeling like they need help. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit there's been times where I very clearly realized I needed help to deal with something. And it took me years to finally realize that, hey, talking to somebody helps, but I'm there now and we're working through it, everybody.
Yep. And the pink hand of Satin is showing up in the chat for the first time in a while saying, Sports Ball!
Hey.
And Kevin also saying, I have a collection of DVDs and CDs. No apologies. No, absolutely not.
Yes, none needed, Kevin.
I still have cassette tapes.
Yeah, I wish that I had hung on to them. I just didn't have anything to play cassettes anymore, so I got rid of them.
I still have cassette tapes. I need to get a cassette tape converter so I can convert them to digital.
I can do that for you, my friend.
Ooh, okay.
If you have a device to play them on, I have ways of converting them for you and perhaps even sweetening them up.
Ooh.
Maybe I can get rid of the crackle.
The crackle.
The cassette tape crackle. And Kevin, great to see you as always. And it's no surprise that a baseball movie would be at the top of your list. You are, after all, our baseball boy of summer.
That's true. I have mentioned on the show he would drag himself through glass to get to a baseball game.
Yeah.
All right, that's been this edition of No Ticket Required. to talk about the Home Run Derby. We're going to talk about the Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner extension. And then we're going to reveal our favorite athletes to wear the number 52. But first, this message from Fanatics. Being a fan isn't just about game day. It's about every day. At Fanatics, we've got the gear to rep your team and the memorabilia to make it unforgettable. From jerseys to limited edition collectibles, from the stands to your shelf, it's all here. Fan gear, fan moments, Fanatics. And you can find our affiliate link in the description below to get your gear. What you can do is click that link. You help the show. You help us appreciate the show by clicking on the link to order from Fanatics. And I'm actually wearing some Fanatics gear right now. I'm wearing my Utah Mammoth t-shirt. Actually wore it to Mohawk Chevrolet today for my monthly appearance on the Levac and Guys program. I walk in, they're like, wow, like, when did you get that? And I said, basically the first day that they were available.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as the Utah Mammoth gear became available, I went to Fanatics. I ordered it. This is before I got the affiliation link. But you can help the show. We get a little bit back from every order by visiting that link in the description. That's our show affiliate link. It's Fanatics. Find your fan gear, your merch, your memorabilia there. Order it in our link in the description. You help out the show, and you also visit a great sponsor by visiting Fanatics. Good stuff. All the leagues, all the teams, all the players you could want. I'm sure there's some obscure athlete in the memorabilia section that you could probably find and order from. But I would again use our affiliate link in the description, because again, you're helping the show out with every single order. All right, let's recap last night's Home Run Derby. Like I said, we were a little bit tired from watching the entire thing.
Yeah.
The big dumper, Cal Raleigh. He wins the entire thing. He won with 18 home runs in the final round, primarily batting left-handed, but he also hit 7 home runs batting right-handed. And we got a couple critiques about the Home Run Derby that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So first off, I said this last night in our party group. I said, I'm really hoping that they have different people in the booth for in the play-by-play tonight, because look, I've said there are booth guys, there are play-by-play guys who belong in the booth who do play-by-play, and there are guys who belong in the studio. Carl Ravitch, I think, exclusively belongs in the studio because he did Baseball Tonight for so long, did a tremendous job as host, as the primary host of Baseball Tonight, and having that panel of the former baseball players as analysts. I just don't think he's good at play-by-play.
No, I don't think, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I agree with you, and I am just exhausted by Pat McAfee. I don't understand the allure. I might get some hate for this, but like,
we don't care.
yeah, he's got that frat boy vibe. Like, he's still trying to cling on to something, and it just last night on ESPN's broadcast, it wasn't so much people calling what was happening rather than people just going, oh, and reacting to a ball that ended up not going out of the stadium at certain points. You know,
yeah.
It's like,
and Eduardo Perez was getting a little annoying too, and his analysis, and it's like, and I saw a tweet today. I can't remember who it's from, but it says today's Home Run Derby. Well, it's launch angle and how many feet it went, and keeping your hands back, all this technical and analytical stuff. And it says, back in my day, back, gone.
Yeah,
like, that's how it was. I saw another tweet today, and I actually went back and forth with the guy who tweeted it. His name is Kenny. He's on social media. He says, I really miss the days of Chris Berman at the All-Star, at the Home Run Derby, doing that thing. I said, well, it's only so many times that you can hear you back, gone.
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, thank God there's no drinking games for the home run derby, because if you had to hear that over and over again, you would have to call 911 to have your stomach pumped.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and it's got to be hard to call one of those things, because what do you talk about? But still, at the same time, I think it goes to the thing that it goes too long. And again, it was just, and maybe it's because I'm a former audio guy, but because I didn't mind having the Todd father there, former Red and Yankee at late in his career, I think. But I feel like,
shout out to the Todd father.
Yeah, there were too many guys whose voices had the same timbre. So there were times where I couldn't even tell who was talking. And then I know I can't speak for you, Ryan, but I think you agreed with us. Most of us were getting tired because they just kept referring to Cal Raleigh as the big dumper. And it's just like, okay, all right, we get it. We know where the nickname came from now. Thank you, ESPN. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think if they shortened it up, it wouldn't have graded as much as it did. We would have been a little more tolerable of the launch angle analysis and all these things, and guys do modify their swings for the Derby. It's a thing, but yeah, I don't know.
And people are hoping, and I'm sure your brother-in-law, who I didn't know until last night was a Seattle Mariners fan.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea. You hope that his swing isn't, because we've seen this before in previous home run derbies, where we saw with Aaron Judge in 2017, he won the home run derby and struggled for the rest of the season because he was so, you're not used to seeing, not saying used to it, but you're having trouble adjusting to actual pitches coming at you instead of just like these soft tosses from your pitching coach.
Yeah.
And I want to pose this question to you. I also want to pose this question to people listening and who are watching. Do you think it was an unfair advantage for Cal Raleigh having his dad as the pitcher, tossing those balls to him, and his brother catching?
I don't think so. Only because now I didn't realize until later in the broadcast that his brother was the one catching. But this is not the first time a father has pitched to his son in the home run derby. Robinson Cano's father pitched to him the year that he won it. So, I don't, you could make the correlation. Maybe it is an advantage because both guys, to my knowledge, who had their fathers pitch to them, won it. But I don't think it made a difference because all of those guys, I think, had somebody that they knew and trusted pitching to them. And the home run derby is a completely different venue. You saw, I think it was Byron Buxton telling the person where he wanted the pitch. He was saying, lower it, Right. So I don't think it was that much of an advantage.
Yeah. And speaking of Byron Buxton, neither of us won won our bet. James Wood was knocked out after the first round. He was the first one up, and as soon as I saw he was the first one up, I'm going, crap. Because that usually person who's up first usually sets the pace for everyone else, and he did in a way. When
he had 14 or 15,
he had 16.
Okay, yeah,
he had 16, and then Rooker went ahead of him. Then everybody else seemed to surpass him. I remember who won the first round. Was it? I think it was O'Neal Cruz who won the first round.
O'Neal Cruz, I think.
And then Junior Caminero was the other finalist in the home run derby in home run derby. So he made to the final round, got beat by Cal Raleigh. I had no idea who he was until he was announced, but now we all know who he is. Byron Buxton, I think, finished 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because he made it to the final four, but he was summarily dismissed by was it
Caminero?
It was Caminero. Yes, he was dismissed by Caminero.
And it's a funny story. I was in the bathroom. I was at the head.
Yeah,
and I walk out of the bathroom. I'm like, "Hey guys, what's happening?" Junior Caminero was in the final. I'm like, "What?"
So you said already. I said, "Yeah,
already." Yeah. He hit 8 home runs in a span of a minute. I'm going, well.
Yep, that's and Buxton only hit 6. He finished 20 after the first round, but I remember thinking to myself, my pick doesn't look to be in great shape either. He may have advanced farther than James Wood, but he looks pretty gassed after that first round. That 20 really took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
And he hit 6 the next round. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. And our Matt Olson, who was the hometown guy, who's last, and they were rooting for him to get to the final, but
Yeah.
to the second round, but unfortunately he came up just short. And by
Yeah.
the way, the fact that Cal Rowley beat out who was it
he beat out Brent Rooker just by a couple of inches.
Yeah, by like 0.6 feet.
Yeah.
And it's just that it was 0.6 feet that got him the second round, and they win the whole thing. So, but let's talk about the New York Yankee representation, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who we talked about him on Saturday, and the fact that he lobbied so hard to get into the home run derby.
Yeah.
He only hit 3 home runs.
Yeah, that's not the best look for Jazz. I mean, hey, Jazz looked like he was having a good time. He said he had a great time. He's nothing but smiles after, but that's not the best. You lobby so hard to be in something, and then you really kind of lay an egg out there.
Yeah, and our friend Derek was busting. He's like, "Oh, New York Yankees, you only hit 3 home runs." I'm like, "Were there any Red Sox there?"
Yeah.
Derek? No, there weren't.
Oh, man, you and Derek got some team beef, man. You're always going back and forth because of the Jets-Dolphins thing, and then obviously Yankees-Sox. But, yeah, I don't know. It was still fun. The Matt Olson moment was probably the highlight of the Derby for me because he started out slow. He was really struggling. Then he kind of caught fire, and he just ran out of time. You had to figure if he hadn't have taken so long to kind of get going, he would have gotten there because he really got hot at the end. He made it interesting. And it's always because the hometown park gets behind the guy. It's a fun time. Derby's fun, but they got to make some changes. They got to shorten it up. I would almost say go back to the 10-out format, make it a couple of rounds if you want to. But the swings, you could tell these guys were gassed. Keep the bonus rounds, keep the bonus outs. I like that thing based on distance. Keep that, but I don't know. Go back to the 10 outs or something, and just make it a couple of rounds. I don't know, something.
One more criticism about the ESPN production. I hated the split screen.
Oh yeah, the split screen was awful. It was awful.
And they had the one camera angle for only one player only, where they were looking at his launch angles. It was O'Neal Cruz. The first round for O'Neal Cruz when he was hitting all those bombs. And they had the camera angle behind him, but that was the only person that they really did that for. And I was like, no, I want to see, like, and your brother-in-law was going crazy. Like, let's go back to that one camera angle where they're looking from behind and not in front.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no, that was great. O'Neal Cruz really, I think a lot of people realized who he is last night. He hit a couple moon shots, 512 feet. One of them was. You don't see 512-foot home runs in the home run derby anymore. Not since the days of Bonds, Sosa, McGuire, Griffey, and we know what the majority of those guys were doing. Which, hey, Ryan and I have talked about that many times on this show.
Yeah. I think the left-handed batters especially were trying to aim for the Omni Hotel, which is directly back of Truist Park. So next year's All-Star game is in Philadelphia. I'm kind of curious to see who they're trying to bring up as the hometown guy, representing the hometown for 2026. Is it going to be Trey Turner? Is it going to be oh gosh, who am I thinking?
Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper. Is it going to be Kyle Schwarber?
Schwarber. I would think Schwarber would be a good pick if he's still with the team. I mean, he's got power for sure. Bryce would be fun to see in there, even though he's older. Bryce is a heck of an athlete, man.
This is true. All right, moving on to our next to last subject of the night. And I'm going to say this as a New York Jets fan. Let's get out the button. Let's get it out. Where is it? There you are. Homer alert! I'm going full ham because the last 2 days as a New York Jets fan have been arguably the best days we've had in quite a while. Some would argue after week 2 or week 3 against New England last year before the wheels fell off the wagon. I would argue the first 2 days of the 2022 NFL draft when they drafted Sauce Gardner, when they drafted Garrett Wilson, when they drafted Jermaine Johnson, when they traded back into the first round to get Jermaine Johnson, then they traded up, leapfrogging the New York Giants to get Breece Hall. But yesterday, we found out that Garrett Wilson signed his extension with the New York Jets, and they had been talking about it in training camp for not a training camp, but OTAs before this. But breaking news came out yesterday from Adam Schefter. Garrett Wilson signed a 4-year, $130 million extension with the Jets that includes a $90 million guarantee. And according to his tweet, he says it's the first time in NFL history that a receiver has averaged over $31 million after playing only 3 seasons. Then came the news today, and this is about 2:30 this afternoon, and this is a tweet from Ian Rappaport, that the Jets an all-pro, 2-time all-pro, Sauce Gardner agreed to terms on a 4-year, $120.4 million a year, $120.4 million deal, $85.6 million guaranteed. Now, here's the kicker with these contract extensions. They don't actually start until their rookie deals end after next year. So they're going to keep on their rookie deals they have right now. But in 2027, these salaries kick in. So these are team-friendly deals. These are deals that, in all honesty, these deals should have been made with other players a long time ago. And you could argue that it happened with Quinnen Williams, who signed a big contract extension at the end of his rookie deal. But they never did it with Jamal Adams, as we know, the infamous battle between him and Joe Douglas in 2020. I saw him get shipped to Seattle. All the draft picks that didn't pan out for the New York Jets in the 2010s. It's telling me a couple things, and I talked about this on Total Football Talk in our closing thoughts. There was a sense of, according to this one writer on Jets X Factor, Michael Nania, he said he was wondering, he was kind of opining whether or not there's a lot of fan apathy this offseason with the Jets. And my argument was that no, there's almost a quiet sense of hope with this team because you haven't seen as much drama. All the drama that we thought was going to happened right, I think probably a week into Aaron Glenn's tenure. Mm-hmm. When they flew in Aaron Rodgers and they said, "You're not part of our plans going forward. Thank you, but no thank you." And they let him walk to free agency.
Yep.
That's the only drama we've really had this offseason. And the Jets fans were kind of getting the sense of, okay, well, the next step is to lock up Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner long term. And Darren Muji did that. Aaron Glenn did that too. I think what they did with the OTAs is that they wanted to identify who were going to be the pillars of this team. They kept Jamie Sherwood, who played marvelously last year. They identified him as a future pillar of that defense. They identified Garrett Wilson is definitely going to be a guy on the offense who's going to be a pillar going forward among the wide receiver group. And they identified Sauce Gardner was going to be a pillar of that secondary going forward. So this is what you do. This is what good teams do. This is what smart teams do. They identify the pillars, they identify the culture setters of that team, and they pay them like they should. Make them you pay your pillars of the team to let people know we're in this for the long haul. This is going to be a long haul deal. These guys are locked up until about 2030. And by the time that their contracts end, they're all probably going to be in their 30s. I mean, Wilson and Gardner, I think they're 24 and 25 apiece. They're both 24 or 25 years old. By the time these deals end, they'll be in their 30s. But the Jets recognize that their best years are still ahead of them. And you look at Garrett Wilson's stats, over 1,000 yards each season he's been in the NFL. He's done it with like 8 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part, is that he's had 1,000-yard seasons in each of his first 3 seasons in the league with 8 different quarterbacks or 7 different quarterbacks. It's incredible.
Well, and the other thing that me as a non-Jets fan, I don't know as much of your about your team as you do, Ryan, but I would say he got those 1,000 yards last year when it was obvious that he and Aaron Rodgers were not on the same page. There were obvious miscommunication issues at times, and also once Davante Adams got to town, that's who Aaron Rodgers was looking for, as is custom. He loves Davante Adams. He was trying to force the ball to Davante Adams on some clear plays, and I just don't think that the trust was there between Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. And yet, in spite of that, still he got to his 1,000 yards. So, but you hit the nail on the head. The Jets obviously see something. I think Aaron Glenn is taking a no-nonsense approach to this team and the way he's trying to handle things. And I know that he got reunited with his former quarterback, so that could be big things for Garrett Wilson. Who knows?
Yeah. And you talk about Sauce Gardner, and people say the first 2 seasons making All-Pro, his first 2 seasons were phenomenal. Last year, you could say people could argue that his game dropped off the roll. He didn't have the season. His game dropped off a little bit. He didn't have the season that he had his first 2 seasons. And yeah, he openly recognizes that. Had difficulty tackling. People want to see more interceptions. I was actually watching today the Jake Asman show today, and he had a guest from U Stadium who was arguing that Sauce Gardner should not be extended for reasons that he doesn't have any pick sixes. He doesn't have as many interceptions as other corners do. And I said, well, I wouldn't say part of the problem, but I would say that Sauce Gardner is such a threat on whoever he's covering. Quarterbacks just don't throw it his way because they know the receiver's not going to get open. He's going to stick with the receiver on their routes, and they know the pass is going to be defended. So yes, he doesn't have a lot of interceptions. He doesn't have a pick. I hate when people say, "Well, he doesn't have any explosive plays. He doesn't have anything that is worth him getting the payday he does." He actually does a lot more than you think when you look at the stats. He doesn't allow a whole lot of yardage to whoever he's covering. I think he's probably had one or two bad games playing the wide receiver 1, and that was last year. And you could argue, I think part of it was the fact that he was battling injuries last year, and his game slipped a little bit because of the scheme that they were in. They weren't necessarily playing to win the game. Their defense was rumored to be designed to hold leads because they thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be this magical being who was going to produce points for them, and it just didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, Sauce Gardner admitted himself, last year wasn't the year that I had, but now you've got a contract. They're going to be in New York long term, and I think it's a good thing. They should, and the fact that they're getting this done now just shows you how little chaos there is surrounding this team in the first 6 months of this regime than there probably has been the last 15 years.
Yeah.
With 3 GMs.
Yeah. And, I'm excited for you because you've been through a lot of bad football seasons over your Jets tenure as of late. And I'm hoping for you that it turns around, and I think you might have found the head coach and GM combination to maybe do it. I mean, who knows? But as far as the Sauce thing, I mean, I'll say it as a Seahawk fan. Yes, Richard Sherman had his interceptions at the peak of the Legion of Boom. He did get some interceptions, but also many other corners, Brendan Browner et al., the people who were on the other side of Richard Sherman got more interceptions because they threw to their side of the field more. Sherman shut down the field like Revis did before him. Yep. That's what happens sometimes. If your number one corner is good enough, they just say, fine, we'll take him out of the game. We won't throw to his side of the field.
Yeah, and you're going to see during the season, oh, this wide receiver who's a wide receiver one, he's having a quiet game. Yeah, because Sauce Gardner's on him the entire time. I mean, in the first 4 weeks of the season for the Jets, they're playing some very good receivers. I mean, week 1, you got DK Metcalf. Yeah. Week 2 is whoever Josh Allen's number 1 is. I can't remember who it is.
That's changed a little bit. Yeah,
it changes. Week 3, it's going to be Mike. It's going to be Adams, or not Adams.
Who are they playing week 3?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. It's going to be Mike Evans and yep. Godwin. Chris Godwin's back.
It's going to be Mike Evans. Week 4, it's going to be Tyreek Hill. Week 5, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. Week 6, not Jerry Jeudy. He's with the Browns. But yeah, whoever's going to be on the opposite side. I mean, week 8 is going to be a test because you got two arguably weak wide receiver ones in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who both got paid this offseason. So
yeah.
But I'm a New York Jets fan. I'm celebrating today. I'm celebrating based on the fact that in the span of 24 hours, less than 24 hours, both your pillars on offense, one on offense, one on defense, are getting paid, and they're staying right where they are. You're not trading them like you did in the past with like Keyshawn Johnson, John Abraham, Leonard Williams, all those guys from previous regimes. You're not trading them for assets before their value gets too high. You're paying them now, and hopefully, like a good investment, it pays off. It pays off. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hope springs eternal.
It certainly does, and hopefully those wins. The whole wins are many while they're still around. All right, our last segment of this episode, our favorite athletes to wear the number 52, and I talked about this with Dustin after the show on Saturday.
Yeah,
we talked about it. I'm like, all right, who's your athlete? And we're just like, mine's baseball. I'm like, all right, cool, mine's football. So I'm going to lead off with this one.
Yeah, take it away.
All right, so my favorite number 52 is from the sport of football, and that's Mr. Ray Lewis. Sugar Ray Lewis from the University of drafted from the University of Miami, 5th overall. I'm sorry, I forgot which way he was drafted. But anyway, drafted from the University of Miami, Hall of Famer, 12-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champ, part of the Hall of Fame All 2000s team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl 35 MVP, was a threat wherever he was in the field for the Baltimore Ravens in the 2000s and into the 2010s. Like that dude, he was the guy who set the tone for the Baltimore Ravens defense. Yeah. Not just the defense, but the entire team overall. With him, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, all those dudes, like Rod Woodson, those guys were dudes. Those guys were absolute dudes, and they made that Baltimore Ravens defense and the team as a whole, they made them what they were, that powerhouse in the 2000s into the 2010s. And he made such an impact on the field. Also a good guy off the field, although they had that incident in Atlanta during the Super Bowl where unfortunately a person passed in his presence, but had an incredible career. And he's just a guy who it was just a pleasure to watch on the field, was just an impact player. Arguably ended a few careers, but one thing you don't do in Ray Lewis's presence, you don't cross the middle as a tight end or a wide receiver, because you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard, and you'll probably have to leave the game for a while. If not, you'll be probably out for the rest of the game. I remember him on a crossing pattern on a Monday night. They were playing the Jets. I think this was in 2011 or 2012, I want to say. And Dustin Keller came over the middle.
Oh, man.
And Mark Sanchez threw a hospital pass, and basically Ray Lewis said absolutely positively effing not, and just nailed him. And Keller was not the same tight end since after that. So he had that much of an impact in the field. He was intimidating. He was just such a difference maker for that Baltimore Ravens team, and he made them, after they moved from Cleveland, he made them what they became. And and it's still a winning tradition now with Baltimore Ravens. So that's my number 52. Dustin, who is your favorite number 52?
Well, Ray Lewis is a great pick, and I should have thought of him. I really should have. And as far as I remember, he was kind of immune to the Madden curse. He was on the cover of 05, but it didn't affect his play that year, if memory serves. But there's one obvious 52 for me. Obvious. If you've listened to my tenure on this show for any period of time, you could probably guess the 52 that's coming, and it's CC Sabathia. It's CC Sabathia all day. CC Sabathia, left-hander. I'm always partial to lefties because I'm a southpaw myself. Can't pitch, but I'm a southpaw. But CC Sabathia, not only is I loved him when he came into the league with the Indians. He was the first one to really wear his hat askew. He was a trendsetter, and you could see his talent on the Indians. But what really got me into CC's corner, and I've told this story 50 million times on the show, so I'll continue. I'll keep it short. But when he was acquired by the Milwaukee Brewers, that team was on the edge of making the playoffs. He, right before his free agent year, this was his chance to get a big contract. He pitched his arm off for the Milwaukee Brewers to close out a season on 3 days rest repeatedly to get them into a wild card spot where they promptly got beat. But in his short time in Milwaukee, teammates raved about how much they love CC Sabathia, and that was one of the reasons why. He didn't have to do that. Most players wouldn't have done that because they would have been afraid of injury, and the Brewers knew he was a short-term rental. They knew he was not going to sign with them. He knew deep down that he was not going to sign with them, although if I remember at the time, he said all the right things that were probably genuine. He said he liked Milwaukee in his short time there. He liked his teammates, and he would entertain staying there. I'm sure he did, but then the Yankees backed up a Brinks truck of money to get him to come to New York, and I couldn't have been happier when CC Sabathia arrived for the New York Yankees because he lived up to his billing. He is a big reason they won the World Series in that 2009 run. He has over 3,000 strikeouts for his career, 251 wins. I thought he had an outside shot to get to 300, but he kind of pitched over a couple of eras where he was, kind of he was part of the era too, where he was getting taken out earlier. He never wanted to come out. He would have pitched until his arm fell off. He always wanted the ball in big situations. He had a career 3.74 ERA. He started 561 games for the Yankees. Injuries did kind of catch up to him eventually. He missed some time. He also lost some weight famously, and I felt like he was never the same pitcher after that in a weird way. He lost some weight, and they asked him one spring training, they said, "Hey, CC, how did you lose the weight?" He said, "I stopped eating Captain Crunch." Hence my headline. Again, you got to look for the headlines if you want to see who my player is going to be, if you want a hint. But CC Sabathia, one of my favorite players ever, period. I love CC Sabathia. Hats off to you, CC. Apparently, huge Raiders fan. Used to deck out his vehicles in Raiders regalia. So, shouts to you, CC. Always repping his home community, and I just always love the way that he went about his career. And like I said, my uncle, I gave him a little preview when we were all here yesterday, and he said a gamer if there ever was one. And of course he is. He always wanted the ball in the biggest spots.
Yep. Desi checking in saying, my favorite number 52 is Alfred McCullough. He started with the Crimson Tide as a defensive end before moving to offensive tackle. Moved around the line during his career as a versatile lineman. He was on 2 BCS national championship teams, Saban's first in 2009 and with the 2011 championship year, which ended with the famous shutout of LSU in New Orleans. Played with multiple pro teams, including the Ravens and Eagles, before going to the Tampa Bay Storm and Arizona Rattlers in arena football. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
Does he dropping the she's always dropping the Crimson Tide. Roll Tide!
Yeah, always. It's so impressive.
She's got that Bama in her. All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we do that, I just want to remind you to follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. And on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and now Podbean. And also you can hit that notification bell on Twitter, on YouTube. That way you know when live shows are up, when there's show announcements, when there's clips of the show. You just hit that notification bell and you'll be properly notified. Thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required. We'll be back on Saturday morning with our boy of summer, Kevin. We'll probably recap the All-Star game. We'll talk about random baseball topics, and we'll also do our hot food takes and other sports-related topics. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning into No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Again, we'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern for the morning brunch with our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. Talk to you again soon.
Good night, everybody.